Mining in Star Citizen can feel confusing at first, but it doesn't have to be. In this guide, I'm going to show you exactly how to get started step by step with no fluff. Let's dive into it. And for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be using the stock prospector ship. Alright, so here we are on one of the moons. First thing is first, how do you even identify where the resources are? And to do that, you just have to scan, and you can do that by hitting the tab key. So as soon as you hit tab, you start seeing these unknown signatures show up on your screen. And if you approach these signatures, once you get close enough, the resource name appears on your screen. So let's go close to this first one that we're seeing. Alright, so here we found some iron ore. We're gonna go close to it and try and see if we can mine some of this. So here's a couple of rocks in a cluster that have iron ore. We're gonna get close. We're going to enter mining mode by hitting M. We're going to make sure we're in fracture mode. And again, to switch modes between fracture and extraction, all you have to do is hit the Alt key and left click. And if you left click again. So to break the rock, you want to be in fracture mode. To extract, you want to be in extraction mode. So next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're in optimal range in terms of distance. So the bar on the left that is green, if I move away, it starts to get a bit more yellowish or orange. And if I move close, it gets green. You want to be in optimal range. So now I'm optimal. And on the right hand side, it's showing me the scan results for this rock specifically. It's telling me that based on the mass of the rock, the resistance and instability, it is actually impossible for me, based on my current ship stats, to be able to mine this. So we're just going to move on to the other rocks in the cluster and see if any of them are mineable. So this one's impossible as well, and also impossible. Now, you should always check all the rocks in the cluster, because just because one or two are impossible doesn't mean that all of them will be. So let's check this one. There we go. So this one's medium. It's actually a pretty good one because it is the composition is mostly iron. So that helps us. Now the thing with medium is that you will see that the optimal window on the right hand side versus overcharge is quite small. And that can become challenging to try and keep it within that optimal window. And you control the charge level by controlling your laser. So if you move your mouse wheel up or down, it impacts the intensity of the laser that's going to be on the rock. So let's start low and see what happens. So there we're shooting a laser, but no charge level is building up. So I'm going to increase the laser quite a bit and see if a charge level starts to build up. I'm basically at 100%, and a charge level has started to build up, as you can tell on the right hand side. However, it's very slow. The other good thing here is that because the instability is low, the charge level is fairly well controlled. As you can see, the charge level is moving up fairly slowly and steadily. It's not overshooting, which if the instability was pretty high, it would overshoot. So we're pretty much about to get into optimal range, and as soon as we're in optimal, you'll see the green bar starts to fill up, and that means we're about to fracture the rock. You don't ever want to get into overcharge. Overcharge is bad. So there we go. Now the green bar is filling up, and we will eventually fracture this rock and be able to extract the resources that we want. If you do get into overcharge, you have to be careful and back off, because the rock will explode and damage your ship. So now the rock's broken into pieces, and you can tell that we can extract them because they've got a purple outline to them. So let's go into extraction mode. Again, hold left alt and left click. Now this piece is showing us, based on scan results, that it's only 1% of that entire piece is iron. 98% of it is inert materials. We do not want to collect that. So let's aim it at another piece. Give it a second for the scan results. There you go. So this is almost 100% iron. So this is exactly what we want to extract. We're going to extract it right now. On the bottom right, you can see the ship's cargo, and it tells you as you're extracting what you're picking up and how much space you have left. If you ever see multiple rows for the same resource, it just means that you've collected that resource at different qualities. So this one, again, another big chunk of pure iron. So we're gonna collect that. And let's see, this big chunk we have already checked is mostly inert material, so we don't want that. Let's try aim at other ones. All right, again, 100% iron. We're gonna pick that up for sure. Now this one, it's mostly iron, so I'm still gonna pick this up. And lastly, that piece right there that we haven't scanned yet. So this one, again, it's up to you if you want to collect these or not. This is about 67% iron or 68% iron and about 32% inert materials. You don't have to pick it up, but you can if you want to. So that's the basics of how to mine a rock and how to extract. Now, what we ideally want to do is you want to keep mining until your ship is full before you head out and refine these materials. But let's go ahead and refine these materials. To refine materials, you want to go to your closest L1 station. Since I'm in the ArcCorp area, I'm going to go to Arc L1, and there should typically be a refinery at these stations. Once you are at the station, just find the elevators and you want to go to the refinery. The layout of all the refineries is pretty much the same, so you just come out, go through this little bridge over here, and keep going all the way to the end. When you get to this staircase, you just go up here, and this is where you want to be, refinement processing. You want to access one of these terminals here, and you're going to start a work order. So to start a work order, you need to select where your materials are, and obviously they're going to be in your ship. You're going to say set up work order, and now the key thing is the refining method you want to use. Now there is a lot of methods. The main difference between these methods is how much yield they give you, how much they cost, and how long it takes to refine. At a high level, I will just say that the Dinix solvation is a good choice to go with because it gives you a good yield in a reasonable time and it's safe and reliable. So let's click that. Let's select all the resources that we want to refine. So we've selected all the resources. You cannot select inert materials. We're going to get a quote. So this is telling me it's going to cost me 166 AUEC. It's going to take 1 hour and 8 minutes of real world time to refine, and these are the yields that I am going to get out of this. So even though I'm giving it 514 quantity, I'm going to get 233 yield out of that. Now let's change this to foreign exchange and update our quote. So here, much quicker. The other one was going to take 1 hour. This is going to take only 22 minutes. It's going to cost us a little bit more, but then the yields start to differ along the way. And I think that's what you really want to look for, is how much yield you want and how quickly you want it. And then just to show you guys, you've got things like XCR reaction, which is going to take 42 seconds. It's going to cost me a significantly more amount, but it's also giving me a significantly less in terms of yield. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to do XCR reaction just to show you what happens once you've got your yield. Now that our work order is complete, we just send them to the station and you basically pick them up like any other cargo, and I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to collect. The one other thing you want to do is you want to come up to the sales terminal right here. Make sure you select your ship again. And basically this will allow you to sell all the inert materials that you have picked up just to empty your cargo on the ship. We're going to click sell. It'll automatically sell your inert materials, and you get basically no money for it, but that's fine. And now we're going to go back to the hangar and get our resources, the refined resources, as cargo. So now we're back in the hangar. And basically how you retrieve your refined resources is basically like everything else. You would receive, you send the elevator down, and your resources are basically in the warehouse of the location that you're in at the station. So you select all, put them in the elevator, and retrieve them. So again, just like any other cargo, your refined resources are already good to go, and you have to collect them and take them home if that's what you want to do, or you can leave them at this station. But basically the main thing you need to know here is that you might need another ship to load cargo in, because the Prospector, for example, doesn't have a cargo space to pick these up. So here I've got my Cutlass Black, and like every other time you do cargo hauling, you just put these boxes in your ship and you're ready to take them wherever you want. And that's going to do it for this video. You should now be all set to start your mining journey in Star Citizen. If you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.